What's up, everybody? Christian here from the DeFi Afterparty. I got AJ on the line, and we're gonna take it to him today because I got some questions. I know he has answers, and I've seen a million. Okay, maybe not a million. I've seen probably 10, 20, 30 DexFi videos on the vaults, and I don't think I've seen any of them cover this stuff. So I decided, let me get AJ on the line. Let's talk about it, and let's hammer some stuff out. AJ, how you doing today?
Good, Christian. Glad to be here, bro. Shout out to your community. And yeah, man, let's go through all the hard stuff, bro. I'm excited. This will be the deep cut. So, yep,
Yeah. Okay, so specifically DexFi Vaults, okay? Um, now I've been into probably five different vaults, just experimenting, AJ.
for
um,
sure.
and what we're seeing on this screen, you can see my screen, right?
Yep, 100%.
Okay, cool. On this screen or on this computer is not, this is more like a test wallet. But I'm going to tell you what I've experienced, and maybe you could give me some information, some answers, and maybe guide me. And hopefully this video will help out a lot of other people that are in vaults too that are maybe experiencing the same thing that I did.
For sure.
So, um, one of the main vaults I'm in is this grand game one, and the reason why is because it generally has a 4+% daily return. And I know, the higher the daily AJ, the more riskier, the more we're playing with some risk here. And I'm fine with that because for me, this is all an experiment to see what works, how it works. Because I'm one of the people that, I got to be in the game because just watching videos and not investing or not putting in vaults is just sitting on the sidelines. I'm not one of those people.
Totally.
So I've seen this particular vault, and I'm sure there's other ones similar to this that experience the same thing. That let's say like this again. This is the test wallet right here, so this one shows $8, right? Initially it was 10, but let's say like I put like 5 grand into this thing, okay? And I know that we're in these different farms in this particular vault, and I know that these different tokens go up and down, right? So one of the things I'm curious about is I know there's, when it goes out of range in the vaults or in the particular farm, AJ, that there's possibly impermanent loss.
For sure.
So my kind of question is number one, how do we know when that's happening, and do we know for a fact that it is happening? Because I've, for example, I've logged into this particular vault brand game, and I've seen, one of these farms was out of range, and it's in yellow, it says out of range. So does that mean like even though we're out of range that we're suffering a permanent loss, or is that just saying, hey, we're out of range, you could suffer a permanent loss?
Yeah, man. So some really great questions, Christian, and I'll try to unpack all this the best I can. So if I gloss over anything, let me know for sure. But in this particular vault, again, you mentioned it earlier, the daily APR is very high, and although the different assets are great ones, I mean, very bullish on Banker, and Arrow, KTA as well. It's been on a little bit of a downtrend now, but overall, these are great assets to be in and providing liquidity. So just to back up really quick, the way concentrated liquidity providing works is you want to have a tight range, because the tighter your range, the more fees you're getting from people trading those assets back and forth. However, if you're too tight of a range, you get what's called impermanent loss. And so that's what you're referring to, and so a lot of times people will try to set their ranges very, very tight. And even through our system, the ALM, Automated Liquidity Management, this particular one is not the AI version. So that means somebody has set these ranges automatically, and that's the vault creator that originally did this. But to your point of what you asked, yes. So impermanent loss is when you go out of range, and then you have to rebalance your position. And by doing so, you get less value. So again, just to explain it a little bit more, like if you had Ethereum and USDC, and ETH went down in price, that means that all your money is being put into the LP balance. Everything is going into USDC. You're selling your ETH in the LP for USDC as it goes down. And so, if ETH goes back up, now you would have been better off just holding Ethereum rather than providing LP. So that is where the term impermanent loss comes in. And you can be out of range without experiencing impermanent loss as well. So that's what you said a minute ago, Christian. Sometimes the in range will turn to um, yellow. And so if you're out of range for that amount of time, you're not earning any fees, but you're not necessarily making it a permanent loss. So again, that's where impermanent comes from, because unless you rebalance and the price goes back into range, then it isn't a loss at all. So that again is a little bit of a background for you. And yeah, so these ranges are very tight. So -4% to above 4%, that means that if the token value fluctuates more than 4% up or 4% down, then you're out of range. I mean, typically, even ETH lately, it can move 10% in one day. So again, that is where you're losing on your principal balance, even though the daily can be 2, 3, 4% every day. So does that help? I don't know if I answered everything. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that does answer my question, but it leads to the second one, which is there a statistic or metric somewhere on the vault page here that shows us, hey, you lost, tokens are gone. Like, is there somewhere that shows that? Like, because, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you scroll down a little bit more here, keep going, there you go, and go to, so this is one thing you can see, the performance area right here. So this is your personal, see, one says total and one says personal. Right now you're on personal, and you can do 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, all over there on the left. And so this will show you what you put in deposits, what you have now, the amount that was compounded. So again, this is if you go back up, really quick, Christian, you can see at the top, this is right there on the left under grand game, it says compound profit, 25.75. So this is another important thing to look at. What this means is 25% of all the yield that you make is compounded back into the assets. So if that number is higher, say, 50/50, that means half of the yield is compounded back in. So your daily yield is less, but you're protecting your asset value. So that is something that you want to look at as well. But in this case, again, so 38 cents has been compounded. You're not in profit because the token values have gone down, and then that leaves you with a 15% loss in your P&L. So, but then if you go to total instead of personal, yep. All right, and then go back down. Yep, and go to so this shows basically the ranges. So again, because this is manual, you can zoom into you can see every time that that the price, those little gray boxes, that is the range. And so every time, it's rebalancing so much because there you go, that's a better way. Because the price is moving so much that, look at and it's rebalancing what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in 1 day. So you're really getting killed with impermanent loss because this is manually set the ranges. So like I said, the back of the top, this is not our AI LLM, which I'll show you the difference later on in the video. But you can see, a 4% up and down is way too tight, in my opinion, if this was one I would be in. And that's why you really have to know a little bit about what you're doing because everybody sees that daily, 2%, or 4% or whatever, and, the inner degen in us goes for those. But, it can um, still not be profitable if there's too much volatility. Now, if the market was more steady and, we were just going sideways, then this vault would be a monster because there wouldn't be big swings up and down, and you'd be earning in that very tight range, and you'd be killing it at that point. But when the market is volatile, those are too tight.
Gotcha. So I understand everything you just said, 100%. But is there an actual like a bar graph or metric or indicator somewhere that actually shows like any like a permanent loss or permanent loss type of stuff, or is it just more like, what we see here on the personal tab of at deposit and now, like this is a reflection of that?
Yes, exactly. So, unfortunately, we don't break it down, per rebalance. It would require a lot more ABIs and calls and UI. So yeah, it's not per rebalance. However, it's reflected in the P&L. So again, depending on how long you've been in the pool, if you go to a week or a month, I don't know how long you were in this, but it will show you a little bit different. Yeah, I don't even know if it's updating, but it'll show you, reflective of what you may have lost. So, right now, again, um, yeah, I don't again, to answer the question, no, it's not broken down per rebalance.
Gotcha. So, which leads to another question. All this stuff's going to lead to another question, by the
I
way.
love it, bro. Let's go. Yeah.
Because I started like, again, I've been on my other wallet, I've been in the vaults for probably 2 or 3 months now, almost since when I first got my first bond. Um, so, I started just realizing stuff. I'm like, hey, what does this mean? What does this mean? So if it says at deposit now, 10, for example, in this example, it says 1022, but it says now 758. So is this also possibly lower now the now amount because
Yes.
the tokens have dropped too?
Yeah, exactly, bro. You took the words out of my mouth. So, it is still a little misleading because obviously with impermanent loss, you're losing value, but usually the compound amount, at least 25% compounding back in, that does even out a lot of the impermanent loss, anyway. But that now is much more based on the price of the tokens. So again, I don't know when you deposited, but I would guess that a lot of the assets are down, but it goes the other way as well. So when ETH recovers and the assets are up, now your current value is higher, and your earning is potentially higher as well because the more volume, the more fees, and remember you're earning the tokens that you are providing LP on. So again, if you're earning 3% of every swap, you're getting more ETH and um, you know, KTA banker, you're getting actual assets. So if they're higher in value, you're actually earning more in dollar value as well. And so I think this one is profit in ETH, right? So yeah, all the assets that you claim are automatically converted. Yeah, it says profit token right there under the top is ETH. So you're getting actual ETH from the fees. Sometimes it's USDC, and so that also is a factor because if we harvest, 2 times a day or 3 times a day, whatever it is, and that is taking profit in ETH, but then ETH goes down, then you're potentially earning less, as well. But if ETH goes up, then now you're earning more. So there's so many variables, that it is hard to really narrow it down. You just have to be super familiar with what all the metrics are.
Awesome. I'm glad we're talking about this, AJ, because you know, a lot of the to me, this is all a game, and I
Yeah,
like playing games and I like figuring it out. Like I remember back in the
totally.
day, like the OG Nintendo. Like I was like trying to figure out how to beat Bowser. Like
It is, bro. I love that comparison. This is the final boss for sure. I mean, you
yeah.
you figure out how to beat, and actually do this, profitably, and it is literally, a money printer for sure.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I'm trying to figure this out because one thing you just said like about a minute ago, maybe 2 minutes ago, is super important. And I bet there's probably going to be at least 50 people that watch this video that are going to get this alpha that I'm about to say, which is if you're in this vault, which is highly risky and volatile and rebalancing quite often, and there's a potential for impermanent loss, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that as you said, this compound amount should be at least 25%. And and
Yes.
and AJ, would you even argue that it should be more?
Yeah, brother. I mean, on a super tight range, again, I consider, anything 10%, up or down a tight range. I would say, yeah, I mean, if I remade this vault on my own, I would definitely change some things. But then again, the daily APR would be less. So it is a give and take. If you're trying to go after the highest daily yield, then that is the price that you pay for maybe eroding, some of your principal. So you can't unfortunately have both a lot of times. So, but yeah, to your point, on a tight range vault like this, I would have it at least 45%, maybe 50/50 would be even better. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, somebody made, I don't know who it was, but someone made a Grand Game 2, and that vault is a 50-50. Let's see if I can get it up here. Or it's not, the internet's not being my friend right now.
Yeah, sometimes yeah.
See, where is it? It should be up on the top here somewhere. But yeah, someone made a Grand Game 2 right here, different farms, of course, but 50-50
Yeah, at
profit,
50/50. Yep.
50-50 profit. TVL is a lot less, but someone did that. So it's just interesting. Excuse me. It's just interesting to me, AJ, because we've talked about before. Like I'm a DJ at heart, man. Like I'm trying to hit a home run here.
Yes, bro, I get it for sure, man.
But
Well, yeah.
but I'm also trying to this. I'm trying to hit a home run by being experimental. I don't have like 100 grand or 50 grand or anything crazy like that. So I'm not being too crazy, but I'm experimenting. And I'm trying to like see what happens because again, like you said, if you can figure this out, then this is going to be a game changer.
Yeah, no, 100% Christian, and I get it, man, and the cool thing is, though, is that there are options that are still very attractive daily, that aren't, necessarily gonna kill you, so let's maybe find one of those. I wanna show you some other things too. If you go sort by TVL, for me, and again, we can talk about what that is. TVL is what people have deposited into that particular vault. Liquidity is how much liquidity there is on those assets themselves. So that's another thing people get confused on. Obviously, that is a difference there. But all right, let's go down and look at um, what's a good one here. So down a little bit more, keep going. A little more. I'll tell you when. Um, Maybe that one. So, all right, let's look at indexy real quick. Yeah, there you go. So you can see too that at the top right there, Christian, the pink and purple AILM. So this is something that you want to look at. This means it's being that the ranges are being controlled by our automated AI powered ranges. So this means that you don't have to manually set the ranges. The one we looked at earlier were all, really tight ranges. And look, as an example, this range is -40. Oh, go up just a little bit more right there. At current levels, it's -40 plus 67. So you can see the difference in the range right there. I mean, it's massive. The other one was 4.4. So obviously, again, the daily APR is 0.4 and not 2. But that is the trade-off that you get, and you get very little impermanent loss because the ranges are so big. And I'll prove that. So go down for right here, yep, and go up just a little bit. Sorry, go to 1 month, right there. Yep, look at this. So the range has only rebalanced 3 times in an entire month. So that is very little impermanent loss. And you even see too where the price goes outside of the range. You asked me about that earlier. The white line is the price, and the gray bars are the range. So in this particular example, there were a few days that we were out of range, but the AILM chose not to rebalance and wait for a correction to come back into range. So this is so powerful, and no other protocol has this AI tech behind it. So yeah, hopefully that helps illustrate what we were saying.
Yeah, totally, man. I mean, again, to me, this is all a game, and like figuring out what all this stuff means to play the game the best and strategically. By the way, one of my favorite games growing up was Stratego. I don't know if you ever played that one, AJ.
I have not, bro. I have to look that one up. Man, yeah,
Stratego is a board game, and basically not a chess, not a checkers, but a board game where you have pieces, and each of these pieces are like knights and kings and other kinds of things that can move different ways and things like that. It's
that
kind of
sounds awesome.
it's
Okay.
kind of like a capture the flag type of game. I think the flag is what you're supposed to go after, but I love playing that because I was always smarter than my friends, so
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I'd
totally.
always kick their ass, and then they didn't want to play, and so
Yeah, it sounds like Risk, kinda, right? Similar
yeah,
to that?
risk,
Or yeah,
but
okay.
not as long, not as long.
Alright, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are more like 1 hour, hour and a half type games versus we're going on for days playing Risk.
Yeah, no doubt, bro.
But again, to me, this is all like trying to figure stuff out. Let me go and thank you for this information, and I hope that this information also serves some other people because they're probably
Yeah.
wondering like what's the best way to go here.
Yeah, bro, totally. And again, man, any other questions we have as we go through this, feel free.
For sure. So I do have some other questions. They all lead one from another. So what are these guys right here? I'm going to zoom in.
Yep.
And right here, so I have these questions about this blue and this green. I'm assuming where it says allocation 34, 33, 33 is that when we zap into this vault, that let's say we deposit $100, that $33 is going to Arrow, 33 is going to Banker, and 34 or whatever the balance is going into KTA. Is that right?
Yes, 100%. So, it is. It's based on the allocation. Again, to get more specific, the $33 actually would then be split into the LP, so half is ETH and half is KTA. But yeah, the overall position, in your example would be, yeah, $33 on 100. That's how the percentages, are split.
Gotcha. Okay. So then what do the numbers next to the blue allocation numbers represent? Because those all add up to 100 too. So I'm like, huh, this is interesting.
I love it, man. So, yeah, you're finding all the clues, in the final boss. So, yeah, so the answer is, and this is what makes DexFi another incredibly powerful tool. So, um, our vaults are actually a combination of beefy and balancer pools. So again, what that means is not only are you earning fees through LP, but you're also rebalancing in between the assets themselves. So what does that mean? What do the numbers mean? So right now, Arrow and ETH have been killing it. So their value in the overall distribution is 50% of that original split. So what that means is the other two now based on value, Banker and ETH is 23% and KTA ETH is 27. So all the yield that comes in, rather than going and buying all the assets, and this is only for their compounding. So the 25% compounding that is put back in, the yield goes to whatever allocation is the lowest. So right now, it would be going back into Banker ETH because that is 23%. And so over time, the goal is that all the assets return to the original 33% split. And so again, as long as ETH and Arrow are above that 33%, then it goes into whatever the lowest is. And why this is so powerful is that it's actually DCAing or dollar cost averaging into the assets that are down the most. So when Banker recovers in price, it could shoot up and be, over 33%, and now all the yield is going into KTA instead. So it's really powerful, and we've done back testing on all this, and because of that rebalancing of going into the lowest dollar asset, we're able to outperform almost 10% in the APR that you would get without that rebalancing. So again, we're the only protocol that does that between multiple farms.
Man, that is so freaking cool, man. Like, I'm glad I'm answering or asking these questions, AJ,
Yeah,
because
bro, these are killer. Nobody
because
asks these questions.
here's what my assumption was, and I was close. I was close. I didn't get the balancing part. My assumption of what the green number was that it was representing um uh which asset was bringing in basically more of the fees or more of the money in the daily percentage.
Okay, yeah, that's a great guess. And yeah,
So
I mean, yeah, and I guess in theory, that probably is still true because if the assets are up in value, then that is probably earning the most. But you're that green in the box that is specific to the daily. If you yeah, right there. So that again 0.6, 0.8, and then 0. Whatever the other one at the top is, zero 0.2, all those combined would be the daily yield.
wow, this is cool, man. Man, you
Yeah.
better use my video as like the instruction video for
I
this.
know, bro. We did well, yeah, and again, there's so much info here. We did do a full, about an hour and a half, overview of the vaults, on our YouTube. But again, bro, we could do an entire, course, on vaults, and not even get close. So yeah, man, I love the questions, and it's powerful, man. I mean, all this is really overwhelming to people, and so all the tech is here, but you really just have to be able to, dissect it, and want to learn how to do it, to really be profitable.
Yeah, 100%, man. So, okay, here's another question because this one got me a little tripped up here. So we're gonna come down here and we're gonna click on where is it? I think it's total. Yeah, total and then price. Okay, what does this price represent? Because it's not. Is this representing the total value of what these NFTs are right here? Is that what that is?
Yeah, so, that this particular one And again, this is based on the TVL because you're on total and not personal. It's the TVL price. So that, yeah, total is the average of all the assets from when the vault was created. So again, it's global. Everything under total is global. Anything under personal is your deposit specifically.
Gotcha, but there's no price under personal, so
Yeah, so it's at that is at deposit and now. So you those are the two where it says at deposit 10
right.
and now 7. So that's equivalent to what's under total. So total, go back to total. That's just again a an average and a moving average of what the price has been overall in the overall vault per I guess to break it down further, per, what we call LTV tokens, which is like the receipt token that you get when you create the vault.
So what is so okay, so what is the price then actually like what I guess my real question is what what's the use of this graph? Is it are you basically trying to say that okay, the price when let's go to all.
Yeah, if you it's better on a bigger time frame. Yeah.
Is that saying that then the price because basically it's a downward trajectory. So what what use is this to me? Like why should I be looking at this? And does it give me any indicators of the future or some kind of intel?
Yeah, absolutely. So this would be a great indicator of why not to go into this vault. And again, that's based on what I was saying earlier with a shorter range. So if you would have gone in early on, again, this is accounting for the impermanent loss that's been suffered over the long run, and not including the yield that you're getting. So this is purely asset to asset value. So again, this would be a great thing to look at if, it's only down and to the right, maybe it isn't as attractive as it looks in terms of principal value. So again, this is all based on the actual token values or principal that's in the vault, not accounting for the yield.
Gotcha. Okay. So basically, this is saying this is bad news.
Yeah, this is saying that you gotta have a lot of yield to make up for the impermanent loss. So yeah, and if we go back to the other vault, that has the AILM, that indexy, I would think that it looks very different. So let's see.
By the way, I think there's a little I don't know if it's my browser, but I think you have to type slow in the search box to
Yeah, a little lag. Yeah.
a little hiccup. Let's see here. Price all.
Oh, so yeah, yep, there you go and see. All right, so there you go, a lot more level. So again, that's because, the impermanent loss has been a lot less and index has gone up, or at least slightly up, since the vault was created. So
Cool, man. That's useful information.
yeah, absolutely, bro. I love it.
Which I mean, I've been experimenting, like I said, and one of the things I've been really paying attention to, which I've never really paid attention to for in crypto before, is basically charts. And we've talked about, time in the market versus timing the market. But what I've been looking for specifically with this grand game vault is did my wall disconnect? What's going on here? Oh, clear. Hold on a second.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the filter on. Yeah.
Is basically finding good entry points for this particular vault. And so I've been like, I've been basically opening these charts up and just like, oh, KTA's down, bankers down, arrows down. Like
Yeah.
I think it was yesterday or the day before, and ETH was all down anywhere from 7 to like 12 or 14%. and I'm like, I think this is a good time to buy.
Yeah, bro. No, absolutely, man, and that's a great point. So, again, and this is more relevant to bonds, because we're a lot more diversified, but, we're not actively trading the tokens. All of what we do is concentrated liquidity providing. But to your point, there's a major advantage to being able to get good entries. And so, yeah, you do absolutely have to have a little bit of knowledge on the charts if you're gonna do it yourself, because just like buying tops, you don't wanna create LP, at a top either, unless you're confident that you're gonna hold it long enough for the yield to outweigh that. So, yeah, there's absolutely you're 100% right. You do need to have a little bit of, information on the charts themselves to maximize your yield too.
Yeah, and again, this is for me, this is like all the game theory, like all the gameplay. I'm like, when do we, when's the optimal time to get into these vaults? See, like if we're gonna take
Yeah.
a big risk with all this volatility and tight ranges, then we gotta like, we gotta have the right armor on, AJ. We gotta have the right,
Yes, bro, yeah.
we gotta have
All
the
the,
right
yeah.
right sword.
Yeah, bro, all the upgrades, right? Yeah. Yeah, no doubt, bro. We're getting upgraded right now. So yeah, and 100%, man. We've tried to make it as easy as possible. And again, that's where the AILM comes in. At the top there, you see ALM. That's the blue and green logo. Remember that those are custom ranges, so they're a lot more that's set by the original Vault creator, and can be a lot more, impermanent loss or a lot tighter. Any of the vaults that have the AILM logo are rebalancing for you depending on the different volatility. So that's another great way. Again, and I'm not saying that this is a bad vault, but just be aware of what the risks are for sure. And like I said, if the market went sideways for a week, and not, only and ETH and Banker and Arrow and KTA only went up and down in price, say 1% for an entire week, this vault would be an absolute monster. So, it's all based on the markets for sure.
Yeah, and I've been watching other videos and hearing, stuff that you said and writing it down, mentally. And I'm like, all right, this is what AJ said. Like, this is a strategy we should put in place. Like, are these are the farms or the vaults that we should be looking into? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep,
So,
absolutely, bro. Well,
um,
and the other cool thing too, again, sorry not to interrupt you, but the cool thing about DexFi is you can be in, as many vaults as you want, and that is physically impossible to do that on your own. I mean, if you were up 24/7, in front of the computer managing ranges, you maybe can do 2 or 3, different vaults, and still keep track. With DexFi you can allocate into many different vaults. And so overall, you're well diversified and you have an average of that daily yield that is much more reliable. And again, that's what we do in bonds. Bonds has over 40 different vaults. So even if one is shitty, the others are making up for it.
yeah, awesome. Why don't if one of the profit tokens is WETH, why can't we not deposit WETH back into a vault?
Yeah, so you would just go to you just have to unwrap it. I mean, again, it says wrapped ETH or WETH, but you should be able to just zap it back in. And if you can't, I haven't checked it to be honest, but if it really is truly wrapped ETH, then you just have to unwrap it before you put it in. So, and we do that because the contracts themselves, wrapped ETH is good because you don't have to worry about gas. If everything's in ETH, you have to make sure you have enough actual ETH left over for gas fees.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure if,
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
I'm
I
not sure.
honestly, I don't even know. I think probably, yeah, I mean, again, if you go to my profit, and claim, um, it may go right to ETH.
Well,
Yeah.
if it's wheat, if it says profit token wheat, because I've done this with my other wallet and I
Yeah,
claim
then
the
it would be
profit,
wrapped. Yeah.
then yeah, it'll give me $1.06 in wheat, and then if I were to try to deposit, I
Yeah,
can't.
is that an option? Yeah, no. Yeah, only
No,
ETH. So yeah, all right. I'm sure there's a development reason for that, but I'll find out. So yeah, and usually if you unwrap or unwrap, you're not getting hit with any slippage anyway. So it is maybe another gas fee. But on base it's so cheap anyway.
yeah, gotcha. It was just a question. I was like, why? I wonder why it's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually what I do, I don't know if this is the smartest way, but again, AJ, like I'm not the most experienced crypto user at all. Like I found this stuff, like a while ago, and I've been following you for a while, and kind of like got my feet under me and started going and started experimenting, and kind of here I am. So I didn't really know too much about wrapped Ethereum, on base. So when I got the profit token, I'm like, I can't deposit it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm sure I gotta swap it or do something like that. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah, no, and again, it does. I don't want to say definitively, but I'm 99% sure it's a development reason because, like I said, we don't confuse the gas token of real ETH with wrapped ETH. So, and usually when you're going into LPs like that, as you can see, all of them are wrapped ETH. Which again, to your point, is even more confusing. But it's also cool I guess as an accounting measure too, because then you know how much wrapped ETH you've earned, and it's not intermingled with your gas ETH. So you can keep track a little bit better too.
right, 100%. What is, in your opinion, what's the advantages or disadvantages even of people making these vaults and the profit tokens being these different profit tokens, whether they're WETH, USDC, or I've seen like I forget what the other ones are. It's like kind of like a what is that term called?
Yeah, they're ETFs. So
ETFs. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I guess again, it depends on your risk appetite and your personal preference. I mean, USDC would be good to be able to lock in profits. That's what we do with the bonds. Everything's in USDC because we want to be able to rely on that. If you're more bullish on crypto long term, then ETH or Bitcoin is a great profit token because you want to just stack more and more ETH and more Bitcoin. So that would be a reason to have non USDC. And then the ETF, same deal. So yeah, if you go here, you can see all the different ETFs. These are all the ones you can choose, and they're great because they allow you to earn tokens that you may want without having to buy them. So, again, the base ETF is both ETH and USDC, so you're getting a little bit of both. Again, Swan, Great Swan. We have a GIA one. If you're bullish on GDEX and GIA, you get those. So it really just allows you to pick and choose, what assets you want to accumulate. But again, there's no right or wrong answer.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was just very it's just interesting about what these ETFs are. I was like, haven't
Yeah,
even
and
haven't messed with that yet, but you know me, I like to get in the game, so one of these days I'm going to be getting one.
yeah, bro, the ETFs are really powerful too. So if you go to view fund on that first one, just as an example. So remember I talked about rebalancing in the vaults themselves earlier about DCAing. The same sort of thing happens in the ETFs. So again, this one's 75-25. Um, and the ratios are right on point. But it would allow you to earn a little bit of both. And this particular ETF is good because you're getting because you're taking 25% in USDC, if ETH goes down, it will automatically rebalance and buy the dip on ETH, all within the ETF. So again, it's a great way to continue to accumulate and hold the ETF as a real ETF in the real world. So basically a basket of funds that would, in theory, only go up over time.
Wow, that's cool, man. Rebalancing, dude, that's freaking insane. Man,
Yeah,
there's just
yeah. The tech,
okay,
our tech is unbelievable. Again, man, we've been building this full time. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in development and audits, and we have the best product out there. It's just nobody knows, man. I mean, the functionality is 10 times what Beefy and VFAT and Balancer are, and they have literally 1 billion TVL. So once people realize what we have, I think the doors are gonna fly off for sure.
well, when you have a billion TVL, AJ,
Yeah.
don't forget my invite on the yacht party, okay?
Yes, bro, you got that right, Christian. Oh man, what? Yeah, that would be the holy grail for sure, bro. Yeah, and Fusion and GDEX would be all time highs times 100 for sure. So
And that's insane. And it's gonna happen, man. I know, eventually somebody's gonna see one of these videos that we put out, and it only, as the phrase goes, we're only one person, one connection,
yes,
one moment in our life away from an entirely different life, and that can go positive or negative. But I always like to be on the positive side of things and be like, hey, we're just one situation, one friendship, one relationship away from bettering quantumly our life.
absolutely, brother. I love it, 100%.
Okay, let's see. I think that's all the questions I have, man.
Awesome, bro. Well, yeah, and there was one more thing I wanted to highlight really quick before we wrap up. If you go out to the vaults really quick, speaking of, getting in front of the right people and utilizing our platform the right way. Yeah, go back to all vaults and search by TVL one more time. I wanted to highlight this one though. Right there, the second one down, Flux Capital. So this is really interesting. And again, I think it's important to bring up. As you can see, it has a purple partner tag as well. And this is with our friends at Elephant Money. And so why I want to bring this up is protocols can also use DexFi as a real yield machine to support their own token. So again, you're familiar with Broke No Mo. We use our treasury to go in and earn yield, and then that buys and burns the token on Pulse. But this one with Wrapped Elephant, you're earning fees from all these assets that is putting direct buying pressure on the Elephant token as well. So other protocols can provide their own LP within our vaults, and they directly benefit from the fees that are generated through that rebalancing. So again, this is also huge and will really help us scale when I mean every protocol on base that has POL should be doing this. I mean, you're leaving money on the table by not doing it. So I want to highlight that as well, bro.
Yeah, man, you guys, and I've heard this before in other videos I've watched. Whether it's utilizing the vaults or utilizing the bonds as a partnership like you guys have here, or this purple or this pink partner tag here. It's like you guys are doing something that a lot of people don't do, which is basically open up their tech, open up their business, open up their connections to other businesses, or in this case, other
Totally.
protocols, to better everybody. I mean, yeah, are you guys gonna be making money off of it? Yeah, but how much? money and time have you guys spent in development to get this far, and all the setbacks you've already experienced, you know? So it's like, man, the way I look at things, and again, I'm an entrepreneur, AJ, and I know you are too, but the way I look at things is, hey, who can I reach out to that has the connections or the tech or the thing, and how can I tap into that somehow? How can I get connected with that somehow so that I don't need to go spend 1,000, 100,000, or $1 million to build it myself, or waste time and all the hurdles I'd have to jump through and all the failures that come with it. It's like this
Totally.
is the easy button, or this is the shortcut to get somewhere quickly.
Yeah, bro, 100%. And again, the way that everything is built, we provide that tech. You're right, we do get a fee, but ultimately the protocols that set this up, they earn way more out of the deal than we ever would, and it supports their whole ecosystem with real yield. Again, because of the fees that we're earning on the other pairs, again, Zora, all those that is then directly feeding your protocol token from the fee. So it's the same thing we do with our own treasury. Again, Mo, EMP, GDEX, and it's bullish because, again, no other tech allows for this sort of flexibility and setting up. And then your individual community can deposit into these vaults, and that is direct buying pressure on your token as well. And when protocols understand how powerful this is, again, it's a no-brainer. Like there's literally no reason not to do it.
So in this case, the vault we're looking at here, Flux Capital, and then the profit token is W Elephant.
Yeah, wrapped elephant. Yep,
Wrapped Elephant. So basically, when you're saying it's putting direct buying pressure on the token, this is what you're saying, because the profit token is this. That basically means it's getting bought and rewarded,
exactly.
and then rewarded here in your reward section, correct?
Exactly, bro. You hit the nail on the head. And, even if you don't want wrapped elephant, then you can just redeem that or sell it for ETH. And, chances are not all 100% of every person in this vault is selling that elephant. And so over time, it creates, again, a net positive buying pressure on the asset automatically. And that doesn't even include the rebalancing. Like right now, wrapped elephant's actually up, so it's higher right now. But if it was below that 25% or 20%, then it also gets fed from the rebalancing on the compound as well. So yeah, it's really powerful. And what I just said too, even if 100% of people did sell their reward elephant, that is more volume under token. So not only is it direct buy pressure, but it's also daily volume under token automatically as well. So I mean, again, bro, it's a no-brainer.
Interesting, man. Like, did you study economics in college, AJ?
No, bro. I have an art degree, man. It's crazy. So yeah, I did go to college, but yeah, I learned in the trenches, man. When you do this, like you said earlier, 15 hours a day, and you eat, live, and breathe LP providing, you learn a lot of really cool stuff for sure.
Not to mention the 50 million TVL that was in the original
Yeah.
UB protocol. I mean,
Yes, bro. Totally.
I mean, and that being, I think that was your first protocol, right?
Yeah, so that was I mean, if you know the real deep cuts, of AJ, my original protocol was an ad platform, called Polypixels, on Polygon, but, yeah, that was I mean, we had maybe, 4 or 5 projects, with that one, but, yeah, my real entry into crypto was EMP, for sure.
So I mean, imagine. I mean, I can't imagine. You know, if I put out I mean, just to be straightforward with you, AJ, and in all transparency, when I say I'm an entrepreneur, I have my own business, which you already know. But it's like it's in construction. Like our construction business, on average, does 2 million in rev like every year, right? Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes a little less, depending on the year, depending on how much work we're taking on, et cetera, et cetera, et
For
cetera.
sure.
But for me, and we're a family owned business, so it's a small thing. We're not a medium sized thing with like 1 million employees and a bunch of trucks and overhead and blah blah blah, right? So for me, like that 2 million's a lot, for our size of our internal, company, which is basically me, my dad, and my sister. But like
100%.
I can't even imagine like, oh crap, we got $50 million, flowing through our business. That's insane.
Yeah, man. No, it's definitely humbling. And again, that was at the height of the bull market last cycle where, you can launch anything and it does well. But again, bro, we've learned, if you go back and listen to some of the original AMAs on our EMP channel from 3 years ago, I definitely sound a lot more naive than I do now. And that's just putting in the 10,000 hours. So, again, never giving up, always grinding. You learn from your mistakes, and we've applied all of that to the vaults. I mean, again, my partner Jake, my business partner, he the reason he built vaults to begin with was because he wasn't happy using other people's tech, and so we built this tech based on what we wanted to see in the market, and here we are. So
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is like most people in the software space in general, not even the crypto space, but just in general, the reason why they build software is for themselves. And then,
yes,
it ends up being like, hey, we can sell this to the public because there's a gigantic demand for it, you know? Whether that's B2B or B2C. And it's like, man, like you guys are, it's only time, AJ, until, like you said, like the real people with when I say real money, I mean with a lot of money find this and they were like, holy crap, like this is the thing we've been looking for. We've been wanting to build ourselves and it's already here.
yes, bro, absolutely, man. Could not have said it better myself.
All right, AJ, that is it for this one. Man, we went over a lot. I didn't think it was going to go this long, but hey, I had some questions. You gave me answers.
Yeah, bro. Happy to do it. I'd love to be back. And again, anybody that wants more info, join our Discord or Telegram, and you can answer or ask all these super detailed questions, and we're happy to help. So,
All right, guys, see you on the next one.
cheers.